You sound far away now.
Oh, hi. How you
Oh,
doing?
there you go. Hey,
All
how are you?
right. Welcome to the Spotlight Music Edition. I'm one of your hosts, Kente, all the way live from Los Angeles, California, and I'm joined by the one and only, the truly wonderful Renee.
Hey, everybody, all the way from Silver Spring, Maryland.
Silver Spring. Don't say Springs.
Please don't. Don't say it to me.
All right. We haven't done a show in so long. How are you?
Pretty good. I've been busy today. Finally made it home from traffic. I don't know why traffic's super crazy lately, but it's okay.
All
I'm
right.
good. How
Well,
about you?
pretty good. Very good. Just been enjoying life, working on a few projects. I can't wait to share it with everybody, but I'm so happy to be here.
All right.
So, we have a very special guest with us today. Let me bring him up to the stage. We have this gentleman is a renowned singer, just an all-around wonderful human being, the one and only Logan Johnson. How you doing?
Pretty good, man. Pretty good.
Hello, Logan.
Hi, how are you?
Great. How are you?
Good to see you both.
You as
Thank you,
well.
thank you. You know, there is a Logan Johnson who's a 24-year-old white singer. Do you know about this guy?
Yeah, when I went to look myself up one time, I ran into that mirror,
Oh,
Mm.
wow.
and I was pretty sure it wasn't me.
Now
Your long lost
this is
twin.
not your kid. This is not your child either, right?
No, 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 no.
Yeah. So I was like, when I was looking for a picture for you for you online, he kept coming up, and I was like, okay, I don't think that was him when he was 24.
Mm,
Yeah,
yeah, I could have sent you a shot, man.
but I did. I was able to get one though.
Oh,
Uh,
all right.
all
Uh-oh.
right. So
Yeah,
so
now I'm worried.
so when we have somebody on the show for the first time, we like to start off with their origin story. So can you tell the audience where are you from originally?
I'm from Edgewood, Maryland, originally.
Edgewood, Maryland.
Maryland.
All
Edgewood,
right.
Maryland. Yeah, and from Edgewood, I went to Aberdeen, Maryland.
Oh,
Now,
yeah.
now, how
It,
close is that to Silver Spring? Is that pretty close?
well, it's around
Not,
the Beltway.
yeah.
Silver Spring is about an hour and a half away.
Mm,
Yeah,
okay. All
yeah.
right.
Edgewood is 30 minutes outside of Baltimore.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So, did you grow up in Maryland?
I. There are some that claim I never grew up, but yeah. I grew up there.
Okay. So, did you do high school, junior high, and all of that?
Yeah. I did. Yeah, elementary school in Edgewood, and then high school in Aberdeen, Maryland, and yeah, like that.
Okay. What was it like growing up in Maryland back in the day?
It was beautiful. The land mass itself was beautiful,
Mhm.
and I didn't realize that until I left and came to concrete, like that. Well, DC first, and then LA after that. But you got rolling hills, you got horse
Mhm.
farms, you got uh, you know space. Yeah, you got space. That part was cool.
Oh, okay. Now you said you went to DC as well. How old were you when you went to DC?
I don't know. 20, 20, 21, 20. See, if I have to count it chronologically, then I have to claim how old I am.
Mm.
And since
That's
I'm
a
not
good
going
point.
since I'm not going to do that, I have to do it in boxes. Edgewood was cool because it was a project. It was a self-contained project, and the brothers in the project took care of what needed to be happening in that project. Now there was a road that separated us, black folk on one side and white folks on the other side. But on our side, we had a baseball diamond set to regulation. We had a basketball court set to regulation, and and the white cats would come across to play baseball and then turn around and go back across. So it was race, but it wasn't. It never got bad. It never got. We found a way to get along. Let's put it that way. We found a way to get along.
Have you been back to the Maryland, DC area?
Yeah, I go back every now and then.
Oh, okay. Do you miss living on this side of the
No,
country?
no, no. Honestly, I don't. now we're talking about Edgewood. Now we'll get to Aberdeen in a minute since you asked for the whole thing.
Okay.
I had a girlfriend in DC when I moved to DC, and I wanted to take her back through Edgewood so I could show it to her. But when I got to Edgewood, every brick in that project was gone. I mean, every brick. There was weeds growing up. We used to walk to elementary school through the woods. You go through the woods, and when you come out on the other side, the elementary school was there. And that woods place was a playground. We played in those woods. That's where we played. And there was a place called Smoky Mountains where you could go up the mountain, jump off the mountain, land in the air for a while, and then come down in sand below.
Oh, wow.
So all the neighborhood kids did that. You know, of course, that was pre-drugs, pre-crack,
Yeah.
all
It's different now.
So I got set in knowing that people could do things together better than they could do apart. That makes any sense?
Makes perfect sense.
It does.
Now, did you come from a musical household?
And the reason I'm doing all of that is because my father played in the Army band,
Oh, nice.
saxophone.
Oh, wow.
But when I was, I don't know, 8, 9, something like that, I watched him give those horns away.
Oh.
You know, he traded that in for family, basically. And I didn't know what it was at the time because I was tiny. I mean, not little, but tiny. And when you see that and then you play it back later on, it's different. And I was such a rambunctious lad that I probably would not have been able to hear the instruction he would have given me anyway.
Oh.
Yeah, I was one of those. You know. Yeah, I was one of those.
Rambunctious lad. I like that.
Yeah, that's all I got. Yeah. That's being kind about it. I was a mess, boy.
Wow. Wow. So, in your household, what kind of music did your family listen to? I imagine jazz, right?
Oh yeah. Pop was a giant fan of Dakota Staten, Nancy Wilson, Cannonball Adderley.
Cannonball Adderley.
Yeah. Nat King Cole. And my mother was a big fan of Johnny Mathis.
Love Johnny Mathis. Yeah.
So that's where the melodies come from. You know, so growing up listening to those melodies was where you know, kind of where I got it from. Now there was a place on Edgewood and Aberdeen, both of them were military bases. And so when the people that worked there and the people that lived there wanted entertainment, they would go on a military base. And one of the things that my father took us to was big bands playing on this Army base in Edgewood. And so that's the first time I got to see big bands and see what that felt like. I got a picture of me and my sister when I was 4 and she was 5 or something like that, dancing, you know, while this big band is playing. Yeah.
Wow, that's incredible. Did you realize when you were very young that you had any talent for singing?
I know I like to do it, but it wasn't a whole lot of encouragement on it because it was. I'm a little older than you guys.
Just a little.
So those were lofty goals. There were lofty goals that other people did, not you know, not me. But that's what I love to do. Yeah.
So, at what point in your life did you start taking it very serious, singing?
Well, there's another one. There's another one. In 1967. No, I have no idea. I can remember elementary school tunes. The tunes that I learned in chorus in elementary school are still stuck in my head. So I knew I needed it, you know, and I knew I liked to do it. So they always, you know, it was always like that. Now in high school, when it came time for somebody to sing solos, I wasn't the one they picked for the solos.
Mm.
You know, there's one in particular that I remember that they chose somebody else to do the solo, and I was like, why, man? I got this better than this cat. What? Why?
Aw.
But yeah, that's what it was.
Mm.
But high school
Has,
was interesting, man. Go ahead.
has your inspiration within, I guess, in music changed like over the years, or is it something the same?
When you say the inspiration, you mean where I get the inspiration from, or the love of it?
The inspiration. Where do you get the inspiration from?
Oh yeah, that keeps changing. But it keeps changing. But you got a file of the stuff that you loved when you loved it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a junkie for horns, right? So I like horn sections. Chicago Transit Authority, Blood, Sweat, and Tears, Mandrill. You know, when a cat can put together a horn section, a horn arrangement for something I'm working on, that's good for me. That's happy for me. That's happy time for me. But horns cost money, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, get a trio together, man. Pay them and go, you know. But horns you have to rehearse. So now you got to play the horns and then rehearse the horns. Now, out here in California, the majority of the players, excellent players, are studio musicians. They can take a gig and work a month and live off it for 6. So having them come to a rehearsal and only get $100, it's like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that, you know. And I get it. Now in DC, you could have a rehearsal, you know, because the cats was not that these folks aren't about the music. It's just so much more of it, and they get paid so well when they do other gigs that they don't have to sweat the small stuff.
Right.
There you go. Was that a long-winded answer to a question?
Well, you know, I love talking about music. I can talk about music all day. And one reason why we have you on here is to talk about your love for music as well as ours. So at some point, you decide that you want to be a professional singer. No?
Well, those big bands that I used to go to, I told you in Edgewood, when my folks would take me to those things when I was small, I would be able to get a tune. Misty was my go-to tune, right? So my mother arranged it so I could sing Misty with the musicians that were playing for whatever the function was. So I started it like that. Okay. You know, and then that led to, you know, learning other stuff and moving around different things. Yeah. Now in DC, I would go to these piano bars with a cat. I think his name is Hilton Felton. Now Hilton Felton was a phenomenon in my eyes, right? Because he could. It was a piano bar where people sat around the bar. The piano was there, and you sat around there, and he could have full-length conversations with people and not miss a note. And I just did not understand how he did that. I just did not understand how he did that. And then in DC, I ran into a lot of excellent musicians that I got a chance to play a couple gigs with like that. Playing music for me, it's always not playing the music, it's sustaining it. You know, you'll get a gig, you'll play the gig, it'll be fun, but it'll be 6 months before you can hit it again.
Right.
And that's economics, man. I gotta say, it's economics. It's not willed to do or none of the above. It's, you know, that's basically what it is. Yeah.
What are some of your favorite, or where are some of your favorite places to play?
Now?
Yeah.
I like playing at the world stage, for one. I want to do Michelli's. I want to do what's the brother's name? He was a trumpet player for Herb Alpert and the Tijuana Brass. Herb Alpert got a club out here.
Oh, okay.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Not only did he have the brain to put it together, but he had the mindset to make the acoustics magnificent. It's a beautiful room. It's a beautiful, beautiful room, really. and I've seen some pretty nice work in there.
All right.
You play where you can. You play where you can. There's a place over in Burbank called. There's a place over in Burbank. It's a wine bar. I play there pretty well, more often than anywhere else. The name will come to me in a minute because I'm sure they like the advertisement. But hey, you know, you play where you can. But to try to put a band together and sustain a band is the $100,000 question. Yeah.
Now, let's talk about live performing.
Yeah.
First of all, when you walk on the stage, how well do you feel the energy from the audience? Is it right away? Does it take a couple of songs in, or can you?
No. It's for me. It's walking in the door. It's in the door before it starts.
Okay.
Yeah. See, I was an actor before I was a musician,
Uh-huh.
and so stage is not a fear factor.
Okay.
I still get butterflies every single solitary time I go out there, but I was an actor first, so stage is not a issue. Yeah, stage is not a, and yeah, you know, when you can tell when you're in a room with people that love the music you're playing and are listening to the music you're playing, as opposed to eating the food and doing some other kind of stuff. And it's always better when you have a captive audience like that, because you know that they're hearing what it is you're doing. Yeah.
How do you make a playlist? How do you decide what a set list?
Yeah.
How do you decide?
That's a good question. You got to start up tempo. You got to start with an up tempo tune. I don't care what it is. You got to start with an up tempo tune. In my head, you got to start with an up tempo tune, and then the audience has to earn a ballad. And when I say earn, I mean they appreciated that, they appreciated that, they appreciated this. Now hit them with that, you know.
Okay.
Unless, of course, you're doing a tribute to Billy Strayhorn. It's kind of hard not to put 12 ballads in a row dealing with Billy Strayhorn's work.
Right.
Yeah, but I like doing that because you have to engage them. If you engage them, you sound better to yourself. I mean, if you engage them. So, you know, the playlist thing is fun. I like doing that.
Have you ever gone on stage and you just didn't feel it? Like you didn't want to be there, or maybe you weren't feeling well, but you still had to perform?
I wasn't 100% on this last one.
Oh, wow.
I wasn't 100% on this last one. And I almost canceled. Canceled. Except it was too many people to try to call back and tell them that I canceled.
Right.
So I had to cancel the cancellation.
You canceled yourself.
I always wondered that about me, like singers or musicians. About, you know, I mean, I know how I am sometimes. Sometimes we don't want to go to work, but we could just call in. But if you got all these people waiting for you at a venue and the venue's booked, I mean, you got to kind of suck it up, right?
And go. You do the best you can under the circumstances and hope that you get some help. Like, I don't know if you watched that whole concert with Kama. I was asking for help left, right, and center. And they would help me out. Guitar player would give me a note. And sometimes I would I know there's a note in here somewhere. I'll find it. You know, it's that. But it's live, you know. And with live, you got to understand it's not going to be smooth sailing all the time. You just have to keep going.
Right.
You know, there's no, let me stop and get off the stage and do something weird, you know. You know.
Yeah, that's something else. I give you guys so much love and respect that, you know, the way that you guys can do it. Now, do you have a song that you know is going to bring down the house if you do it?
Well, you always put one of those in your set. You know, you when you asked about a set, you put familiar ones in there, And then I'm an experimental kind of cat, so I'll try something new. You know, I do that way a little bit. And sometimes the ones that you think will be the ones are not.
Mm.
You know, for me, All the Things You Are always comes out nice.
Mm.
I just love the tune. And Until It's Time for You to Go, mostly comes out. Oh, they did it, you know. And that's only because I like to find tunes that aren't being played to death. You know, you go to a set of jazz sometime and you hear the same tunes.
Right.
You know, especially if you hang out with a bunch of singers.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. At one time I was hanging out with the California Pop and Jazz Council.
Mm.
You know, Kathy Siegel Garcia and Linda A. Smith, and Deanie Clark was the teacher at the World Stage. So from the World Stage and Deanie Clark came the California Pop and Jazz Council, and that would be a bunch of singers getting together to sing gigs, to find gigs and sing them. Mm-hmm. And I know a lot of songs because I've been doing this a very long time, but a lot of those folks would just do the same song every time, and that to me would not be
standard.
Well, yeah, beautiful tunes, but you got to learn something new.
Now, why did I think when you said the California, I thought you were going to say raisins for some reason.
Please don't say raisins.
That was the catch we didn't pay. We was just trying to go. California raisins. California Pop and Jazz Council.
Wow. When you oh my goodness. When you perform with other artists, is it ever challenging for you? Because maybe you're from different backgrounds or maybe singing something different?
No. I mean, if I'm on the stage with jazz cats, I can hold mine.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
You know? And it's only if you're on the stage with pop cats, it's different because they don't know. First off, they wouldn't know the standards as well as the jazz cats would, and they're just playing the chords for what it is you're singing, and that's a different kind of thing than a jazz set.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's so funny. Full disclosure for people who are watching this don't know is that me and Renee know Logan personally, and I've known Logan for quite a while. And I'm watching this movie. They had the screening of this film, and they get to the theme song for it, and I knew one person was in it, Dwight Tribble, a great singer, and they said Logan Johnson. I was like, and I go to the director because it was his screening, and I say, "Is that the Logan Johnson? My Logan Johnson?"
Yeah, no, that's that white cat in Kansas.
Not the white one you saw.
I all this time I heard that song, and I feel terrible. I didn't recognize that was you as well in that song.
Yeah, that's Ed Landler's film. I Build the Tower, I think is what it's called.
Right, I Built the Tower. Yeah,
about the artist that built the tower.
Simon Rodea, Watts Tower.
Yes, Simon Rodea. Oh, okay. Yeah. He took he put me and Dwight in the studio, man, and asked us to work that out, and we did.
I love that song too. It's a great song.
Yeah.
It's a cool song. So how was it working with Dwight? I mean, you as we all know Dwight. So
Dwight's the genius, man. They asked me to go first, to try to stack something over, make up something and go to the I said, all right, and I'm glad I went first because Dwight went in there and smoked it, man. Mm-hmm. But I knew something he didn't know, and he knew something I didn't know.
Right,
and that's what I really like. That's what I really, really like. Everybody brought something to the party, Mm-hmm. Yeah, Dwight's an incredible musician himself.
You know what's so funny, just as a side note, and one day we're going to interview Dwight, is I've known him since I was a child. And when I knew him, I didn't know him as a singer. I knew him as he worked at Southfield College as the audio-visual person. You would go to him to check out like a tape recorder or something like that. And so that's how I knew him first.
That's pretty good.
And then I was like, wait a minute, the audio guy is singing? I didn't know that he was great renowned singer, you know.
Yeah.
And he runs the world stage out here in
Okay.
Austin.
Yeah, yeah. He runs the world stage, and he has an album called Living Waters.
Mm,
Okay.
You know, they say if you was on a desert island, what moment would you? I would take Living Waters.
yes.
He's
Yeah.
got a poet on there that started the world stage.
Kamal
Kamal.
Daoud, yeah.
Kamal Daoud.
Great.
And the tune, it just fits what he wrote. It fits together so well. You know, it was well put together. It's well put together.
Yeah,
I'm looking
Kamal.
forward to what he's got coming out now. I think he's working on an album now.
Yeah, yeah. He stay in the studio.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about we're gonna get into some other aspects, but let's talk now. I've known you for a while, and I knew that you had acted, but you know, me and you have had many conversations, and generally, I'm a music. I love music, as you know, because we've had many conversations about music. I love all kind of genres of music, so I usually will talk. I'm shocked he hasn't tasered me or something, because I will talk his head off about music. You know, like, I mean, how many music conversations we've had for hours, by the way.
Yeah.
But I've never talked to you about your acting. Tell us about acting.
Well, when I went to community college
Mhm.
and graduated faster than I wanted to, because I didn't realize I had a brain until I went to community college.
Okay.
Because I played football in high school
Oh wow. What
and I had
position?
a 9-piece band.
Oh wow.
So I really didn't have to do nothing. You know what I'm saying?
Right. What position did you play?
Oh, I was catching passes. I was
Oh,
catching
wide
passes.
receiver.
I was a split in, and I ran kickoffs back.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, and I ran kickoffs back. So when you do that, you get a lot of help on the subjects,
Mm-hmm. I understand.
and you really don't have to apply yourself as a normal human being would.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't realize that this is not going to last forever like this.
No.
So it wasn't until community college where I realized, oh, I do have a brain. It works very, very well.
Mhm.
Why don't I use it? So when I graduated from community college, I was disappointed
Right.
because I was in it now, and now I'm out. Now,
Okay. Yeah.
you know, and I forgot what the question was. Now I'm all over the place.
Oh, about acting.
Oh, acting. So I went to Lincoln University in Pennsylvania,
Okay.
and Lincoln had a 414 program. You go to school for 4 months, you be out for a month, and then you go back for another 4 months, right?
Okay.
So the month I was out, I was going to go to Nassau and stay with a roommate, a classmate of mine for a month, and then get back to that. Now, when I was coming from Nassau to Miami, I saw this brochure in the back of the plane that said something about the DC Black Repertory Company, right? So I dropped out of school to go do that. Didn't make the folks very happy at all. But I left Lincoln University to study in DC with Van Tyle Whitfield and Robert Hooks and Rosie and Smokey. To DC Black Repertory Company was a eye opener to me, because where I came from, that many black folks wasn't doing that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So it was fascinating. It was fascinating to me. So I took the workshops, and the first tier of those folks that were on television all the time were our teachers. And that is also where Bernice Regan started Sweet Honey in the Rock, right there in that theater.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Van Tyle Whitfield was a genius. It was a magical time to me. But I came in on the tail end of the DC Black Repertory Company. And when everybody else went to New York, which I probably should have done, I stayed and did a natural food business in DC, thinking that I worked this natural food business for a couple of years, then I have an income and I can go back to my acting. Not so much. Business doesn't take a break like that, So I started it with the rep and then phased out of it. And then when I came back out here to drive somebody's stuff across the country, I started getting work as an actor. And I thought that work would lead me to other work, but not so much. not so much. Yeah.
Wow. So tell me, how many gigs did you do as an actor?
I don't know. I have
What,
no.
well, what's some of the excuse me, things that you did as an actor?
Well, the ones that I'm most proud of, I had a friend of mine that would write for me and another actor, and she would make up these plays, these church plays, with me in mind and this other actor named Billy, who's passed away now. God bless you, brother. And she would tailor make it like a suit, so she would take the best part of what I do vocally and verbally and all of that, and she would create a story around that. And so putting those up was fun. Colette Toomer was her name. Yeah. And that's the most stuff. See, acting out here was different. Acting out here, when I got here now, I don't want to besmirch the profession, but when I got here, hit the mark and say the line wasn't what I was about. It was about the craft of it. It was about all the work that you did with everybody else to be in it. I remember one time I was supposed to go to this audition, and I told this brother about it. And he said, "Oh, man, that audition got canceled." And I said, "Oh, okay, man, no problem." But being the person I was, I went to the audition anyway. And when I got there, he was the first person I saw. But, just that's a different game.
Yeah.
How DC treated theater and how theater was treated out here in Los Angeles was not the same. And so I kind of got discouraged a little bit. I never found my tribe, as they say. I was slowly approaching it, but I didn't stick around long enough to find my tribe that was really trying to do some good work. Yeah, I love the theater. So I taught it to children for 25 years.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
How was that?
It was the best excuse I could come up with for not pursuing it myself.
Okay. Good answer.
That was pretty good, right?
That was great, actually.
Inside Out Community Arts was a middle school kids, right? Now we would teach them life lessons, but we would disguise it as theater.
Okay.
And I ran into a gentleman named Jonathan Zeichner, as a matter of fact, who was recruiting from a black film group that I was associated with. We go to these lectures and hear these people talk about the industry and how to get in it. And I was writing then too, writing screenplays and trying to write them and all of that. Mm-hmm. But when he came to recruit for his Inside Out Community Arts, which was ground floor stuff, it was intriguing to me. So, and I needed the bread. So I went over there and did that. And then once I got in it and found out that it wasn't about me, it was about them, it was worth it to stick around that long. Yeah, it was worth it. It was a beautiful program, We would teach them for almost 18, 20 weeks. We would teach them for almost 20 weeks. Mm-hmm. And then we go to a camp in Malibu. And for 3 days, we would create this play that they made up. And we would just structure it for them. And then when they got back, they put that play on for their family and friends. But it was like 30 lessons to do before you actually got to put that play on.
Nice.
Yeah, it was like that.
So if me and Renee ever wrote a play and we needed an actor,
let me see what you
know
got.
Who to call, right?
All right.
Let me see what you got. Yeah, I still know how to do that. Yeah. Right. Yeah, I keep claiming I want to do a voiceover thing too. Get a voiceover thing going. I studied that a little bit out here. Mm-hmm. It was cool. I love this. I'm a walking contradiction because I love music and hate the business. Mm. I love music and hate the business. As simple as that. And theater is the same way out here. Mm-hmm. I love the theater, but all that other stuff you got to go through to deal with it it makes me tired. And so you do what you can do and leave the rest of it alone. And most of the time, that's more detrimental to me than it is to the people I'm not working with.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Would you ever teach kids or anyone again
I
in
did
like
that.
acting?
I did that. I'm old now. This is my
Okay,
turn.
gotcha.
It's my turn. I did. No, I did that for a very, very long time. Somebody else asked me that too. With the bills I got to deal with and all the rest of that, I need to do something.
Right.
But I would really like to have it in a creative vein at this stage of what I'm doing. Now, if I can work inside out community arts for 25 years, and if I could work body ecology on the campus of Howard University for 25 years, then I get my turn.
Yeah.
For the next 10. I don't even need 25. I'm a bit.
Right.
I don't even need that. I just need 10. And if I can do that and get paid for it, then it can morph into something I can work with.
Okay.
Hey, big shout out to Aaron in the chat room.
Hi, Aaron.
All right. We are here with a singer, actor extraordinaire, Logan Johnson. And I can all right, before we get to the last event that you did, let's talk a little bit about music. Now, who would you say is on your Mount Rushmore of jazz vocalists? Now, that's 4 people, because the people always go 5 instead of 4. So who would you be? Who would be on your Mount Rushmore?
That's a pretty good question. Johnny Hartman, definitely.
Okay, Johnny Hartman.
Johnny Hartman's a crooner that was one of the only vocalists to record with John Coltrane.
Oh, wow.
What's this lady's name right now that's winning Grammys and all the rest of that for singing standards? She's got my heart, man. She can sing, though. What is her? I can't call her name right now, but she just won 2 Grammys, I think, for jazz vocalists.
Okay.
It'll come to me. It'll come to me before it's over with.
Okay.
So, Johnny Hartman and her. You talking about just vocalists or musicians?
You could do, musicians. Why not?
Well, Coltrane,
of course,
because he could do sheets of sound, but he could also do a melody like you never heard.
Right.
He could do a melody like that. And as far as, you know who Andy Bay is?
Of course.
Yeah, I'd have to put him on there.
Okay. All right. Now, out of jazz, let's say R&B, who are some of your favorite singers? You don't have to do Mount Rushmore, but who are some of your favorite vocalists, male and female?
I like so many different kinds of things, man.
See, like me, I always separate male from female. I like to put them in different categories. I mean, I love them both, but I just like to do that. Yeah.
Well, just Johnny Hartman is Johnny Mathis. It's 100 of them. Nancy Wilson, because that's what I grew up with. There's a cat that did a piece with Quincy Jones, man. Everything Must Change. I can't think of his name right now, but he was all over that.
Okay.
He was all over that.
What do you think about singer-songwriters? Like, does that make a difference to you if they wrote?
If I was paying attention, that's what I would. If I was paying attention in my youth,
right,
that would have been the avenue that I would have pursued. Yeah, if I was paying attention in my youth.
I think he's trying to answer your question. Samara Joy.
Samara Joy. Thank you.
Oh, go ahead, Aaron. All right.
Yeah. Thank you, Aaron. Samara Joy. The girl is bad. She's fierce.
Wow.
And there's another little girl out here right now too. Her name is Ishtar or something like that.
Ishtar.
I don't know. I don't know what her name is, but she does a lot of acapella things on YouTube. Yeah, she's got a very nice delivery. Her thing is nice. The studio will probably stick her into this category where she won't be able to get out.
Mhm.
You know, fire in the back and whatever.
Mhm.
But she's doing a nice thing too. There's so many, man. When Sammy Davis Jr. was singing jazz music, he was very good at it
He sure was.
because his rhythm was off the chain. You know.
Yeah.
The who else? I'm sure, as soon as we hang up or as soon as we get off this thing, I'll be going, oh man, I missed blah, blah, blah.
Now, tell the truth.
Yeah.
Do you ever use your singing abilities to woo the ladies?
You kidding?
You have to, right?
Come on, man.
You said you can't have a superpower and don't use it.
And now
That's what I'm saying. And I mean, that's my test if it's working or not.
Okay. That's what's up.
Yeah. And some of those I can talk about in mixed company, and some I would not further mention. But
now, have you ever had panties thrown at you?
Oh my gosh!
Not thrown at me, no. But
he didn't say they weren't thrown. Just now.
Offered very kindly. Offered very kindly.
They were around, but just not thrown at it.
Yeah, no, panties thrown is more in the rock era. The people that come to see jazz is cooler than that. They can tell you what they're after and they appreciate what you do, and you can talk about they cooler than that.
I don't know, man. I think Miles Davis had some panties thrown.
Well, Miles Davis was Miles Davis.
Right.
Miles Davis was Miles Davis.
That's funny.
Yeah.
So that's funny. December 18th, 2023, someone that was very dear to us all passed away. And the great Carol Mundy Lawrence, who I don't, there's not words to describe how much she meant to me and means to me. She was just a wonderful human being who I loved dearly, and I spoke to very often and saw her often, and tragically she passed away 2 days before my birthday. Mm-hmm. And one of the ways that me and you got close was that you were her boyfriend.
Yeah.
And so she meant a lot, obviously, to you as well.
Yeah. And
we're going to talk about the event that you did, but can you just talk briefly about what she meant to you?
Carol was like a guru, right? She was calm enough to make everybody around her calm, which endeared her to everybody around her.
Right.
And not only that, she was smart. She was, like I said, she was smarter than me. That's one of the things that attracted her. I appreciate my brains now, but she was smarter than me.
Oh, wow.
She was. And I'm not saying you got to go a long way to be smarter than me, but she was one of those kind of people that was smarter than me. But that wasn't her. It wasn't a competition. There's a cat in Leimert Park that we always bump heads all the time because both of us love being intelligent. But it's not a competition. You know what I mean? It's not I ain't trying to prove nothing, baby. I'm old. You know what I mean? Hey, come on. But she had a kindness that would include everybody. And so, when she got sick, all her friends thought I was going to bail. They did.
I never thought that.
I could see it in their faces. They thought I was going to bail, man.
Wow.
But no. She and I did not know until after she passed that all that stuff I read at her ceremony, not ceremony, but all that stuff I read, I found out after.
Wow.
I didn't know that she started. I didn't know that she had a Kwanzaa series that was an animated Kwanzaa series that was still going on. It's still being shown.
Yeah.
You know, we went to Chicago to, you know, they sent for her to come to Chicago because they were honoring her for something she did in the 60s, I think.
Wow.
70s, 60s or 70s or something. And I'm glad she went because, you know, she wouldn't have seen those folks anymore. But, you know, everybody would get up and talk about what it was they did. It was like a seminar, you know, 3-day seminar. You know, Julie Dash, all those beautiful people were there. All those serious filmmakers were there, you know. And then you find out that about she was the first Black woman independent filmmaker to have a national television series. I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
That's not what we talked about. You know, we talked about movies all the time, but we never talked about that. And she could laugh. That's one of that's got to have that. She could laugh. Well, you know, she could laugh easy and long, you know, and not at something, but with somebody. That's different.
Yeah.
You know.
She was a phenomenal person.
And
you know, I knew some of the stuff, but I definitely learned more. And I used to talk to her all the time about writing a book about her life, and she would say that, you know, she used to say that she didn't think that, you know, somebody would want to read it, and I would be like, what?
Right.
And then she started thinking, like, coming around to the idea, but you know, sometimes you gotta just do it, you know, you don't know how much time you have. But you did this beautiful thing where you did a special concert in her honor. And can you just kind of talk about that event at the world stage, no less?
Yeah.
And we'll put a link to it so that you can see it because it is on YouTube.
Oh, cool. Yeah, this woman named Jacqueline Bobo, I think she's at Santa Barbara, did an article on Carol. And the majority of the dialogue that came out of that piece came out of Jacqueline Bobo. Black women in film and video, I believe it was.
Mm-hmm.
It's over there. I can show it, hold it up and show it to you. Anyway, again, I didn't see that until after she passed. So now I'm reading all this stuff, and she's worked with this person and that person, and you know, Stan Lathan was the director of Say Brother in Boston when she started. You know, that kind of stuff.
Right.
And I mean, I got huge respect for that cat, man. He's still around doing specials for Dave Chappelle, another one of my all-time favorites.
Mm-hmm. His daughter is Sonali.
Yeah. And Danny Glover, you know, people like that. Those are her friends. You know, so she had a lot of different kinds of friends.
Yeah.
And then she had the whole Buddhist community,
right,
for 30 odd years. So it was never a dull moment, basically. You know. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's my baby, man.
No.
Yeah.
I call up at 2 o'clock in the morning, and she still be up watching television. And I say, "Go sleep." You know.
And you killed it. I mean, you were incredible. And every song. How'd you pick those songs?
I was trying to do Three Horns. It never occurred, but I was trying to do something that was not the usual stuff I do, and that fit the era that I was speaking of when she put her company together.
Right.
In Guzo Saba Productions, I believe it was.
Right.
Guzo Saba Films. Mm-hmm. So I was trying to take it out of the total jazz realm and stick it in that. And then have the songs speak to the dialogue that I was working with. I wanted the songs to complement what I was reading. So that's how they came up. Yeah.
Yeah, and another thing, talk about how it's a small world. So I kept looking at your bass player, and I'm like, is that who I think it is? And it's the great Kevin O'Neill.
Truly.
Who years ago I put on an event called Music on a Sunday Afternoon, called MOSA, Music on a Sunday Afternoon, and he was one of his group that he had at the time performed at it, and he was so gracious that there were other musicians that didn't have a full accompaniment, and him and his group performed with them.
Yeah.
And my host was a man named Alvin Grimes, and you know Alvin. Alvin was the host of it, and Alvin kept looking at him and realized that he knew him because Alvin was a rock performer and a bassist himself.
Yeah.
And he knew him from back in the rock days because Kevin O'Neill was in a group called the Bus Boys.
Right.
And they had a big hit song called "The Boys Are Back in Town."
Right.
Yeah, and so they did some stuff together at that event that I put on. So it was so great to see him. I hadn't seen him in years,
Oh, okay.
And so I was like, I was blown away that but it's a small town, right?
It is. And I'm one of the pluses of choosing him to work with me on that was that he could get a Blood, Sweat, and Tears and Chicago Transit Authority sound out of one horn.
Mm-hmm.
You have to know a lot more music theory than I know to do that.
Right.
And it didn't sound like too much was missing, because of how well he writes.
Yeah, he's phenomenal.
Yeah, for that I'm glad.
He was phenomenal. That event was phenomenal, and I'm sure that she would have enjoyed it. I mean, wherever I'm sure she would have enjoyed that. It was just great, and it was great to see people I hadn't seen in a long time, and it was
always good, man.
It was good, and it's very emotional because she meant so much to all of us. So it was great, and the picture you had of her was just beautiful and all of that. So. I mean, it was hard not to get choked up, to be honest with you, from the other event that they had for her at the temple, as well as this one. So thank you. So thank you for doing that.
Oh man, shoot, what are you talking about? That's my baby. But no, I had to do something because when somebody hits that hard on your heart, you have to have a line that you can say, I'm healing from once you step over the line.
Right.
And if I hadn't have done that, then I'd have been looking at a picture every day and trying to remember all the good stuff we did and all the rest of that. I mean, I do that anyway, but I know how I have to find a balance. And I needed that to strike a balance, to help strike a balance.
And also by doing that, you stopped me from singing. So I think
I hear that's a good thing.
Right. So I think Carol appreciates that even more. Yeah.
No, she was something else, man.
Yeah.
I didn't start hanging out with her in the first place thinking that we would be in love. You know what I mean? That we would, it was because it was good company and it was a great mind.
Right.
And it was good company and great mind. And we both like food. So, let's eat something. And then you hang out and you hang out and you hang out. And then boom, you look up and one day you're there. And it's cool.
I've said this a couple of times, but I got to say it one more time. Before she hooked up with Logan, because she was in the Writers Guild of America.
Yeah.
So she was able to go to movies for free and bring somebody with her. And I was her date most of the time, right?
Yeah.
So I was going to see everything. I saw the Matrix, the second Matrix film before it came out. I saw a bunch of movies.
Yeah.
I was always going with her, right? To these great screenings, and sometimes the people involved was there. And then she gets a boyfriend, and then I get totally X'd out.
I had no idea, man. I
just dumped you.
She dumped me so fast. It was like, oh man. And I was like, who's this Logan guy? Everybody kept talking about Logan, and then then when you meet him, it's like, man, I can't even hate this guy.
I'm glad about that part anyway.
You're great.
You didn't sing like Logan did.
I know, right? Maybe if I sang better, she'd have kept me going to.
I might be able to do a couple of things now. I don't have no problem with that.
Yeah, but I really, I'm so glad that in her last years of her life that she had you, because I think
Yeah.
everybody needs love, right? And
Yeah, no,
you know, so going forward, where can we see you perform next at?
I'd like to do I'd like to do that I'd like to do part of that tribute again
Okay,
for some of the folks that didn't get a chance to see it this time.
okay,
Okay.
There was a lot of it I left out because Carol was such a particular person
right.
that if I had mentioned the names of some of the people in her journey,
Mm-hmm.
she that would not have sat well with her.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
But if I asked these people about it and
Mhm.
asked them to participate in it,
Oh, okay.
that might be better.
Mm.
That might be better. And I mean, these folks they are the industry.
Okay.
You know what I mean? They're not. They are the industry. They are doing what everybody that gets in this business in the first place wants to be doing. You know, you're on a national television show. You're directing Dave Chappelle in 7 of his stand-up specials. You know what I mean? You are a photographer, cinematographer. The book just came out on Amazon. You know, that kind of stuff.
Now, now Carol was a Buddhist, right?
Yeah.
She identified as a Buddhist,
She did.
and she had she had a Buddhist name, Kama,
Came up. Yeah.
but then she also had a insect name as well, right?
I don't know, man.
Oh, you don't remember? You,
No.
no,
I remember her talking about it, and
they said it at the
Yeah.
the temple. It was cicada,
Yeah.
and which is so funny because me and Renee always talk about her favorite insect, the cicada,
Okay.
and how she's sad because they come around to what every, was it 15 years?
17, 19, something like that.
Yeah. So
It can be longer if I had a choice. It can come around.
I was
way
about to say that
less.
you must be elated because they just showed up.
Yeah, so I'm glad that they didn't stay long and they'll be back later.
In 17 years.
when I found that out,
in Maryland.
when I found that out at the memorial, I was dying because Renee just loves cicadas. That's like
Yeah.
her
Oh,
favorite.
Yeah. But yeah, you must have been in cicada heaven because they definitely showed up this year
Yeah, they did.
in mass.
Yes.
Yeah, so, but I mean, why do they got to take so long to come back? They should come
Don't
back.
wish them. Don't wish them. Or you
Yeah,
come to
let-
Maryland, I'll come to LA.
Yeah, let them stay where they are, right?
Right.
I'll hang out with the cicadas.
Okay.
All right. So, man, this has been a joy talking to you, and soon we're going to be doing some podcasts together, talking music, and Mr. James Janice is going to be joining us, and it should be fantastic, and that'll be forthcoming. And I'm looking forward to it because me, I can talk music all the time.
Yeah.
And as Renee knows, I will talk her head off about music.
Yeah.
And Renee also is a performer in herself, and
I didn't know that. What?
yeah,
Oh, see what?
and the gospel.
I sang in the
right?
gospel choir.
Ah,
Yeah, and they got an album coming out pretty soon.
We do.
there you go. See
Yeah.
what we talking about? Yeah, she blushing off the screen.
Yeah, yeah. And I got my mumble rap mixtape coming out.
There you go.
Now I'm being silly, but man, it's so great to talk to you, and looking forward to our project going forward and whatever you have coming out.
Yeah.
If is there any way that people can contact you if they have any questions or possible bookings?
You can do the email thing with Logan Johnson 2020. That's about the easiest way to see it. I get so many calls with people, wanting.
Is it at Gmail or?
Yeah, Logan Johnson 2020 at Gmail.
Oh, okay.
Easiest and safest way to do it. Can you see that art over my right shoulder, left shoulder, whatever that is?
Yes, I can see.
Yeah, that's mine too.
Oh,
Nice.
okay. I didn't know that.
That came from having a job that was boring me to tears. I was selling computer ribbons.
Oh,
And
wow.
Oh wow.
down on Vine, and I was sitting there bored to death. So you start doodling, right?
Right.
Uh-huh.
And then the doodles turn into something else. So that was a result.
Nice.
That was a result of a boring job. Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, that's the lemonade from the lemons, I guess.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. So Renee, you have a book coming out.
Yes.
What's it called, and when can we expect it?
My third children's book. My twin sister and I write children's books and I illustrate them. So Buzzy Bee Go Away is the title, and it should be out shortly.
What's the title again?
Buzzy Bee Go Away.
Buzzy Bee Go Away. All right.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Thank you.
You know, your next children's book should be Sarah's the Cicada. Please stay.
Oh yes, and you'll be the main character,
Cicada, please come again, right? Yeah.
and I'll be there like, no, please go.
Please go. All right. Well, you can give me at Kente F on Twitter, or I'm sorry, X now, and Kente Ferguson on Instagram. So with that said, you guys have a great rest of your week, and God bless.
Thank
And
you,
I appreciate you
Logan.
doing this, man. Thank you very much.
Thank you.